Ever feel like you're stuck in a rut? Just going through the motions. Like you need something to shake things up, give you a little spark.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Well, stick with us because today we're diving deep into the world of hobbies
Ooh, hobbies?
and we're using this really cool ebook, totally packed with ideas. And we'll be talking about why they're so important, more than just something to do in your spare time.
Yeah, they're really not just about, filling time. They can be a real tool for growing as a person, learning new skills, even managing stress.
Okay, stop right there. Stress management. I'm all ears. People always say hobbies are good for stress, but is there really any science behind it?
Oh, absolutely. There's tons of research. Actually, there was this study in the Journal of Psychosomatic Research, and it found that doing fun stuff like hobbies actually lowers your cortisol levels. And that's, like the stress hormone.
Whoa, so it's not just in my head, it actually changes things in my body.
Exactly.
That's wild. Even just an hour of knitting can totally change my mood.
Perfect example. It's like a healthy way to deal with stress. Takes your mind off your worries, and you get to focus on something you enjoy.
That makes a lot of sense. And I guess it keeps your brain sharp too, right? You're always learning new things, figuring stuff out.
Exactly. It challenges you to think creatively. Like, take woodworking, for example. You got to plan, be precise, and solve problems to go from, raw wood to a finished piece.
So it's not just keeping busy, it's engaging your brain in a whole new way. I like that. So where do we even begin? This ebook we've got. It divides hobbies into all these categories. Active hobbies, nature-inspired hobbies, creative hobbies, just to name a few.
Oh, yeah, let's get into those. Let's start with active hobbies, perfect for people who love to move, get their heart rate up. And we're not just talking about your typical sports like tennis or golf.
Right. The variety in this book is pretty amazing.
For real. Think about square dancing, all that rhythm and meeting people. Or the grace of ballet. Or how about an aerobic dance class gets you energized?
I've always wanted to try a dance class, but I'm not exactly the most coordinated person.
That's the great thing about hobbies, though. You don't have to be a pro. It's about finding something you enjoy wherever you're at skill-wise.
That's true. And even if I totally stink at it, at least I'm moving and having fun.
Yeah.
Besides dance, what other active hobbies are there?
Well, if you want something a little more chill, but still good exercise, there's always walking, hiking, or even just working out at home.
Now you're talking my language. I love a good walk, especially in nature. It's so calming. The ebook actually has a whole section about nature-inspired hobbies.
Oh, yeah. Connecting with nature is so rewarding. Gardening, bird watching, even just spending time outdoors, there's something about it that just feels good for the soul.
I totally agree. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Even just sitting outside for a few minutes, listening to the birds, it can make a big difference. But for those who want to take it a step further, this book suggests joining local environmental groups or doing citizen science projects.
Right. You can combine your love of nature with actually making a difference. Imagine cleaning up a river or helping track the water quality in your area.
Love that idea. Giving back while doing something you enjoy. Now, for our listeners who are more on the creative side, this ebook is like a gold mine.
Oh, yeah. The creative hobbies section is packed with options. You've got your needle crafts like knitting and crocheting, and then more hands-on stuff like woodworking, pottery. There's really something for everyone.
I'm a huge knitter myself. There's something so satisfying about taking yarn and turning it into cozy scarves and blankets.
And the creative process can be so therapeutic. Like with knitting or crocheting, the repetitive movements are very calming, almost meditative.
It's like mindfulness, right? Just focusing on what you're doing, all your worries just kind of fade away.
Exactly. And don't forget the feeling of accomplishment, making something beautiful and unique with your own two hands.
You're making me want to start a new project right now. But I have to admit, starting a new hobby can feel kind of overwhelming.
Oh.
Where do I even begin?
Yeah, I get that. It can be a lot. But that's where hobby kits come in handy.
Oh, yeah. I remember seeing that in the ebook.
They're like a starter pack for your new hobby. Everything's included, all the materials, instructions, everything you need to get going.
So you don't have to go out and buy a ton of supplies or try to teach yourself, right?
Exactly. Let's say you want to try a cross-stitch. A cross-stitch kit will usually come with fabric that's already stamped with the design, pre-cut threads, needles, even the hoop.
So you can literally just open the box and start stitching.
Yeah.
What a great way to try something new without feeling intimidated.
And there are kits for all sorts of hobbies. Model building, soap making, candle making, even rock tumbling.
Rock tumbling. What even is rock tumbling?
It's actually really cool. You take these rough, jagged rocks and put them in a machine called a tumbler. It smooths and polishes them until they're like beautiful gemstones.
Wow, never heard of that. Learning so much already from this deep dive. And speaking of learning, the ebook mentioned that hobby kits make great gifts, especially for kids.
Oh, for sure. It's a fantastic way to introduce kids to new things, spark their curiosity.
I love that. It's like giving the gift of possibility,
Yeah.
a chance to explore their interests and maybe find some hidden talents.
And let's be honest, sometimes kids need a little encouragement to put down the screens and do something hands-on, something creative.
So true. Who knows? Maybe a simple hobby kit could turn into a lifelong passion. But whether you're already into hobbies or you're just starting out, I think the key takeaway is that hobbies are more than just a way to kill time.
Absolutely. It's about investing in yourself, nurturing your passions, challenging your mind, and just making your life more fulfilling, more meaningful.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah,
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling super inspired to try something new.
that's what we like to hear. And remember, the possibilities are truly endless.
Okay, let's dive back into this hobby goldmine. One thing that's always kind of intrigued me is art collecting. But I gotta be honest, the whole thing feels a bit intimidating.
Intimidating. How so?
Well, I always picture like those fancy galleries, with super expensive paintings and people bidding millions of dollars at auctions.
Ah, I see what you mean. There's definitely this idea that art collecting is just for the rich and famous. But what this ebook really emphasizes is that it's about finding pieces that speak to you personally, no matter the price tag. It's about that personal connection with art.
So it's not about owning some masterpiece that's worth a fortune.
Not at all. This ebook actually highlights a ton of affordable ways to start collecting art. You can find amazing stuff at local art fairs, flea markets, even antique shops.
You know what? I actually have found some pretty cool vintage posters at flea markets. Never really thought of them as art, but I guess they are.
Totally. And think about things like limited edition prints, photography, ceramics. There's a whole world of art out there, and you don't have to empty your bank account to enjoy it.
Okay, that makes me feel a lot better about dipping my toes into the art world. There was this one thing in the ebook that totally surprised me, though. Decorated saw blades.
Oh, yeah. Believe it or not, that's a thing.
Seriously, people collect saw blades.
They do. It just goes to show you that art can be found anywhere, even in the most unexpected places.
I would never have thought of a saw blade as, like, a canvas.
Right. It makes you think about what art really is, challenges our ideas about it.
I love that. It's like a reminder to be open to new possibilities. So we've talked about active hobbies, nature hobbies, creative hobbies, art collecting. But what about something for the whole family to do together?
Ah, yes. Family time. Super important these days, especially with everyone so busy. This ebook has a whole section called Toy Game Hobby Night.
Toy game hobby night. Sounds interesting. Reminds me of family game nights when I was a kid. Things would get pretty competitive.
A little friendly competition never hurt anybody. But the real focus of Toy Game Hobby Night, at least according to this ebook, is about just spending quality time together. No screens, no distractions, just connecting and making memories.
I love that. So what kind of activities are we talking about? Besides board games, I mean.
Well, for the little ones, it could be as simple as playing with dolls or building with blocks, maybe some modeling clay. Get those creative juices flowing.
Those are classics for a reason. Really lets their imaginations run wild.
Exactly. And for older kids or families with kids of different ages, board games and card games are always a hit. Gets them thinking strategically, and it's a good laugh.
The ebook mentioned Uno, Candyland, and Dominoes. You know those games that everyone knows how to play? Easy to just pick up and have fun.
Right. And when you're choosing games, it's always good to keep in mind everyone's attention span and skill level. Make sure it's enjoyable for everyone, not just the super competitive ones.
Yeah, that's important. And it's a good chance to teach kids about being a good sport. Winning or losing, it's all about having fun.
Yeah.
The book also mentioned cooperative games, where everyone works together as a team.
Oh, I love that idea. Takes the pressure off of competing against each other and focuses on working together to solve problems.
Okay, let's switch gears for a minute. For all our listeners out there with green thumbs, the ebook talks about hobby greenhouses.
Oh, greenhouses, they're magical. Imagine extending your gardening season, creating your own little slice of paradise right in your backyard.
I've always dreamed of having a greenhouse. It's like having your own private botanical garden.
They come in all shapes and sizes, from small ones you can mount on a window to these big walk-in models.
I'm picturing one of those gorgeous Victorian greenhouses,
Yeah.
all those glass panels, sunlight streaming in.
Absolutely stunning. And the ebook actually talks about one model in particular called the Solar Prism Greenhouse.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. What makes it so special?
It's made from a single piece of clear plastic, and it's designed with these prisms that capture and diffuse sunlight. Super efficient.
So even if it's a cloudy day, your plants are still getting all the light they need. That's incredible.
It is. And a lot of greenhouses come with cool features, like automatic vents that regulate the temperature, even built-in irrigation systems.
So you don't have to constantly worry about your plants getting too hot or thirsty, like a little self-sustaining ecosystem.
Exactly. And speaking of community, the ebook mentions the Hobby Greenhouse Association, or HGA. It's a great way to connect with other greenhouse enthusiasts, share tips and tricks.
I love that there are these community for so many different hobbies. It's like having a built-in support system of people who share your passion.
Exactly. It's a fantastic way to learn from others, get inspired, and just feel like you're part of something bigger.
Well, we've covered a lot in this deep dive, but there's still so much more to explore. Let's take a quick break and come back for our final round of hobby adventures. All right, we're back, ready to uncover even more hobby gems. I gotta say, this ebook is truly a treasure trove of ideas.
Oh, yeah, it's packed. And I think the biggest takeaway is that there really is a hobby out there for everyone. You just got to find what speaks to you, matches your personality and interests.
Okay, so what else have we got? Ooh, square dancing. That looks like a fun way to get some exercise and be social all at the same time.
Square dancing is awesome, been around forever, but it's still super popular. There's just something so charming about it.
Yeah, I can picture those big twirly skirts and the upbeat music, but isn't it kind of hard, all those steps and patterns and...
It can seem like a lot at first, but there are tons of classes for beginners, and the more experienced dancers are always happy to help you learn.
Well, that's good to know. Seems like a pretty welcoming and supportive community.
It is. And it's not just about the dancing itself. It's a chance to connect with people, make new friends, and just have a blast.
Now I'm picturing myself in a big hall, twirling around with a bunch of smiling faces.
Hmm.
Might have to give it a go. So what about hobbies for people who love being outdoors but aren't into the whole dancing thing?
Well, cycling is always a popular choice. Whether you prefer leisurely rides on flat ground or something more intense like mountain biking, there's something for everyone.
I've always loved biking. It's such a great way to explore and get a workout at the same time. But I'm not exactly in top shape these days. Can just anyone jump into cycling?
Oh, absolutely. Start with shorter rides on flat terrain, nothing too crazy. As you get stronger, you can gradually increase your distance and try different trails.
Good advice. And the type of bike probably makes a difference too, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. There are bikes designed for everything: road cycling, mountain biking, commuting, even just cruising around. Do a little research, find one that suits your needs and how you want to ride.
Okay, adding cycling to my list of hobbies to check out. All right, let's talk about something that takes me way back. Playing with toys. I know it might sound kind of silly, but this ebook mentions that toy collecting, and even just playing with toys, is a pretty popular hobby for adults.
Makes total sense. Toys have this special way of connecting us to our childhood. They remind us of a simpler time when our imaginations could run wild.
I still have a box of my old toys up in the attic. Sometimes I just like to take them out, remember what it was like to be a kid.
It's like opening a time capsule. And for a lot of adults, collecting toys is a way to hold on to those happy memories, preserve a piece of their past.
I can see that. Dolls, action figures, cars, trains. This ebook mentions all kinds of toys people collect.
And each type of toy has its own whole community of collectors and fans. There are conventions, online forums, even price guides for the serious collectors.
Wow, it's a whole world I never knew about.
Yeah.
I guess some toys can become really valuable over time, huh?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Limited edition items, vintage toys in mint condition, rare collectibles, those can go for a lot of money.
That's so interesting. But for me, the best part about toys is just playing with them.
Hmm.
I remember spending hours building Lego creations as a kid.
Legos never go out of style. And they're not just for kids anymore. There's a huge community of adults who build these incredible, super detailed Lego creations.
That's so cool. Legos are like their own language. No matter how old you are, everyone can connect with the joy of building and creating.
Exactly. And it's not just Legos. There are tons of toys that encourage creativity, problem solving, and imagination, no matter what age you are.
Okay, for our last hobby highlight, let's talk about something that can add a touch of history and elegance to your home. Decorating with Antiques.
Ooh, antiques. They have this unique ability to bring character and stories into a space. Each piece has its own history, its own journey through time.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like each antique has a story to tell, but I've always been a little intimidated by the idea of decorating with them. Where do you even find them? How do you know what to look for?
Well, the best place to start is just by exploring. Check out antique shops, flea markets, estate sales. You can browse online auction sites, vintage marketplaces. You never know what treasures you'll find.
That's part of the fun, right? The thrill of the hunt.
Exactly. And as you start looking around, you'll start to figure out what you're drawn to. Pay attention to the materials, the craftsmanship, the style. Don't be afraid to ask questions and learn from the people selling them.
Great advice. And it's not just about finding pieces that are worth a lot of money, right? It's about finding things that speak to you, that match your personal taste.
Exactly. An antique doesn't have to be expensive to be special. It's all about finding those pieces that bring you joy and add a little history and personality to your space.
Well, I think that about wraps up our deep dive into the world of hobbies. We covered a lot of ground, everything from active hobbies to creative ones, from things you can do by yourself to activities the whole family can enjoy.
And we've just scratched the surface. The world of hobbies is huge and always changing. There's always something new to discover, something that will grab your interest and spark your passion.
This has been such an inspiring journey. I feel like I've got a renewed sense of curiosity and a whole list of hobbies I want to try.
That's what we like to hear. The most important thing is to find what you love, what challenges you, and what brings a little more joy into your life.
So to all our listeners out there, get out there and explore. Embrace your curiosity, find your passion, and dive into the incredible world of hobbies.
Happy hobbying, everyone!
You can download the book for free from our website.